It's 6 p.m. on Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, and I hereby call the City Council meeting to order. If anyone wishes to address the council tonight, please get up here and sign in, and I'm going to give you all a few minutes to do it. We can't take people coming up or raising their hands during the council meeting. If you feel you want to say something, and you can change your mind and decide, raise your hand and say, no, I don't wish to say anything if your information was already discussed. But if you wish to speak to the council tonight, please come up and sign up. Either it's an agenda item or a non-agenda item. You need to be on the sheet to sign up. Do you want me to give you all a few minutes for people to sign up? Right. The city clerk, Miss Jeannie Klein, will help you out. I just saw a few people walk in. We just made an announcement. If you wish to address the city council, you must be on the sign-up sheet for an agenda item or either a non-agenda item. After the meeting starts and we start discussing items, it's too late to sign up. So if you feel you wish to address, please come up here and sign up. All right, we're good. Nobody else wants to sign up? Could you please bow your heads? The invocation is going to be presented by Mr. Tink LaCour.
Folks, please bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for allowing us to gather today to conduct the business of the city. We're asking for your continued blessing and inspiration as we try to make decisions that best serve our community. We ask you to continue to look over and bless those that are sick and suffering, and remember the family of the mayor of Wiggins through these difficult and trying times. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor DeBrio.
Here.
Councilmember Finley. Councilmember Moran.
Here.
Councilmember Morgan.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember LaCour.
Here.
Could I get a motion to confirm or to adjust the agenda?
I'll move to confirm.
Could I get a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next regularly scheduled city council meeting will be held on December 15, 2020, here at City Hall, located at 5000 Diamondhead Circle. City Hall will be closed December 24th and 25th for Christmas and December 31st and January 1st, 2021 for New Year's. We have several presentations tonight, all of which are very informative. We're going to try to keep them each down to a not a very extensive period, but we do want to get the messages across. So we're going to start with our comprehensive plan, which we've all been working on, very excited about. Mr. Bob Barber, would you like to come up and tell us where we are currently with it?
Mayor, thank you, and I will be brief with the board. Merry Christmas to you. It's good to be back before you. I just wanted to give you a very, very brief update. We have, as you know, been engaged in updating the 2012 comprehensive plan since about last June. The plan is a critically important document for Diamondhead. It sets the basis for your development policy. It projects and provides a basis for various projects for the future of the city. A four-step process is what we observe, and our methodology includes a discovery, a time of factually studying the city, a time of direction in which we get vision and direction from the community itself, and we've done that. We move into a design phase in which we actually craft the plan. We're writing the plan now. That's the stage that we're in. And then there is an implementation portion to the plan. At the end of all that, how do we implement the vision? So we have completed a discovery visit. I've been before you before multiple times. We've been in the community for the discovery visit, I said, but also for planning week, which was very, very, very helpful. Without going through the concepts that are being developed for Envision Diamondhead 2040. They're online. There's a website, project website, and you can gather information there. Let me make 3 brief comments, very, very brief, because I want to emphasize them. We have encountered, my team, Orion, and our team that's working with us, Diamondhead, is an exceptionally unique community. Its history is unique. You might think it's a young community, but it's in many ways a historic community, the context in which it exists, and the prospects for its future. This will be expressed in the plan. They're excellent. Diamondhead is an engaged community. We do this all over the place, and I want to say you have a community of about 9,000 people. We have engaged, depending on how you count the web hits, between 3,800 and 4,500 people in this planning process. It's a significant figure. And you have a very eager community. I've been meeting with Mike and others about how to implement the plan. The next steps, as I said, we are in the plan writing phase now, and we will have a draft out in very late winter, early spring. It will begin to be reviewed by your planning commission, by your staff, and ultimately by the council itself. That's where we are. Merry Christmas to you. I hope it was brief enough.
It was wonderful.
Okay.
And we can't thank you all enough for what you're doing. We're all excited. And 43, did you say 43 hits on the?
If you count the max, it's 4,500.
4,500,
Yeah.
exceptional. So the
It's-
residents are getting engaged.
It is by far the most engaged small community we've worked in probably ever,
Wonderful.
by that count, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas. Next, we're going to move on to Tetra Tech, and we're going to get an update on the debris removal as a result of Hurricane Zeta.
Good evening, everybody. Appreciate you having me again. Just want to give you a brief update, and I'll also answer any questions you've got for us. But so far, we've got 16 days operational here in Diamondhead. A total cubic yardage over those 16 days of 88,855 yards. So 88,000 yards of material in 16 days. That's pretty impressive. We do have a total of 20 units on the road as we speak. We just certed in 4 additional units today that'll be running tomorrow. In conjunction with those, we're also running 3 bucket trucks doing what we call leaner hanger work. They're removing hazardous limbs and hazardous trees. And there a 4th bucket truck will be certed in tomorrow morning to start running as well. So the contractor has ramped up nicely. I think we've got a good amount of trucks out there. It's been a good project so far. They're moving a lot of material, and I think you can see the impacts that they've made already. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Also, representatives from the contractor are here as well if you've got any questions for them, but I wanted to keep it brief for you.
I think one question is when will they be finished with the first pass, and when do we anticipate them being finished with the second pass?
Scott, you want to answer that?
That's what I said.
The first pass, I think, should be done Thursday, Friday. We geared up and got ready to go for 100 to 120,000 yards of debris total. We're 88,000 into that 100,000. Let's say we're 88% through and 50% of the time. There is more debris there than we anticipated or that we thought. That's why we added 4 more units today, and an additional bucket will be here in the morning. To give you a definitive answer, I can't do that without just speculating. But I feel certain that Thursday, Friday, we should be through completely with the first pass. Some of Diamondhead Drive and Golf Club have actually been hit off and on for the second pass, and not that the 4-house cul-de-sac isn't as important as Diamondhead, but everybody uses Diamondhead Drive, everyone uses Golf Club, and so when that stuff just keeps coming out, and if you'll notice riding around, the storm debris is brown. But you ride down a lot of these streets, there's stuff out there as green as that Christmas tree. They got cut Saturday and piled back out there, and then you get the phone call of, hey, why didn't they pick up this debris? Well, we did. And so, there was the construction debris aspect of it. It got left a lot, the smaller piles and even the bigger piles of construction debris got left because going into this deal, and when I was here 2 weeks ago, everyone knew there was a ramp-up time, and I knew that too. So we had a meeting on Tuesday, okay, we're gonna start Monday, and y'all's defense, y'all could easily say, well, you knew you were starting Monday, why weren't you 100% ready? Well, the truth of it is, there was a whole lot of local politics going on in Hancock County with these 3 different landfills. And so we weren't sure where we were going yet, or even if we could go anywhere yet. And, so that was kind of a little bit of a hang up on it.
So you're thinking the first pass will be Friday or Saturday? That was the
Thursday,
question.
Friday, I think, me and Mike have spoke, off and on over the weekend, that we're gonna work through Monday, shut down. That gives us the 22nd for all our guys to travel, 23rd and then come back on January the 4th. So, is the second pass, work day wise, I think it'll be no problem in 30 days. There is gonna be a gap there for Christmas and New Year's, which, all the kids will be home, half the people off work, relatives coming in, it's just gonna get congested, so.
So the shutdown will be between, so that we know if we
We're
get,
gonna work through Monday afternoon, weather permitting,
okay.
and then we're coming back January 4th.
And that's very good. And speaking on the green limb, some people, have just was able to get tree workers over. And they have hangers, so I mean, you have to look at people just being able to get out and do their work,
I
so.
didn't mean it that way.
Oh, no, but we thank you. We thank you what y'all are doing. You're moving good, so thank you. And I think we have some more questions, and it
Scott, I
may be.
appreciate your efforts. Just to clarify, the first pass means all streets in the first pass.
Correct.
I know this morning I was down at Fairway Estates, and there are pine trees the size of some of the original trees. It's evident you haven't had an opportunity to get there, so I just wanted to verify that. Thank you.
Fairway, and we're gonna start Fairway Estates in the morning.
I'm sure they'll be
Gate
happy.
on I call it west, the gate on the west side, we're
Right.
gonna open it, we're gonna come through that gate, there's really nowhere to turn around in that subdivision.
Correct.
So we're gonna come through the construction gate and come through and haul out the east end to the dump, and we're gonna be in Fairway tomorrow.
Good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any questions to my right?
I got-
Oh, we got another question to my left.
Do you have an idea of how many roads have you not been down yet?
Is that a hard number?
Mike, do you have a map?
Majority of the major roads that you can flow all the way through, loop roads and such as that, I believe are all 100% green. The only ones that have are gonna be the cul-de-sacs, and even with all those have been covered. I don't have a hard number on exactly how many.
Yeah, the ones-
Tetra Tech does have a website that I shared with the council. If you log into that, and I told you what button to click, what layer is what it's called in the GIS system. I look at it in the morning. It shows me what, you can see the green and blue dots. That's the piles where they picked up. And you can see the streets clearly of which they have not been able to hit yet. So that's available to all council.
And that's what we'll do as well. We'll work in conjunction with the contractor to take our geo portal, which is what Mike's speaking of, and we'll also put some actual physical people out there in the streets to ride all of these so that we can actually sign off on a first pass, a true first pass that we've touched everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. And these are questions that the residents are asking us
Absolutely.
daily. So these are why we're asking you the questions, so that we have the answers to provide to the residents when they ask us daily these questions. Okay.
My project manager says we're 70,
Yeah, we're looking right at 73% on first pass, hitting the road, we're about 27. We think in the next quarter, to the 21st, we should be able to pay.
Well, excellent, excellent
We'll do
job.
a couple of the other ones on second pass during that same amount of time, because we've got, we'll have 24 units running. And the part that's remaining, we can't put all those units in that one part. So we'll be spreading them out. So a lot of the roads will be getting second pass as we finish the first pass on the remainder.
I think one thing to take consideration, 2 weeks ago, we were talking, 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, that, we were shooting for 3,000, 3,500 cubic yards per day average. The first 2 or 3 days, I think we were like 1,200, which we really didn't even intend on hauling that day. We were just here, the trucks from Agriculture did a great job getting everybody online. It was like, well, let's go to work, we're here already. So really, that first day was just kind of let's get started, maybe 1,600, 2,000, but now, I think our daily average over 16 days is beyond 5,000 yards per day, versus when we started this, we were talking about doing 3,500 yards a day. So I think we're exceeding our, anticipated yardage by 1,500, 2,000 yards per day, to maybe more than that. I mean, we're up to, 6,000, 7,000, more than 7,000 cubic yards a day now, and we just added 4 units late this afternoon, right before we came here. They were over there starting those guys in, so, those numbers are continuing to grow, but as we go down the cul-de-sac stuff, that does get a little slower, so I think we're gonna easily maintain 5,500 yards per day.
And today must have been over 7,000, because I sent an email out to the residents, and it was at 81 this morning from yesterday's total. So today, y'all were over 7,000.
That's the first time I heard those numbers.
Well,
It is,
I'm keeping up with the numbers, so I know this morning, before you came, you're at 81, and today you're at 88, so good deal.
Just to give you an idea, today, and this isn't complete and hasn't been reconciled for tonight's report, but as of maybe 2 or 3 hours ago, we were at 7,300 yards just today.
Excellent.
So over
Okay.
7,000 yards
That's
just
what
today.
I figured. Good
Yep.
job. Okay.
Mayor, another question.
No, ma'am, you may
Can-
not. Did you sign?
They're opening up the gate tomorrow, and that went to the Mississippi Supreme Court.
Okay, well, you can't talk from the audience, and here's how this works. If you wish to address the council, and I'll give this sheet back to the city clerk, and she can call people out to speak.
The dually trucks are not able to make the turn, so they won't be able to make it down the street. We're opening the gate
That's all right.
temporarily for a couple of days.
Okay, and that's okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I would like to remind residents, they are going to be in small cul-de-sac areas working. So please don't park your car in the cul-de-sac or on the streets. These are big units, they're large, they're operating in the middle of the road. We don't want to hit a car, so get it off the street. Okay, I had to remind my neighbor this morning, because I said, I don't know when they're coming. If you park in the cul-de-sac, you might get tagged. So please be patient. That first round's making it quick. So they've been doing a great job. We appreciate them.
All right. Moving along, I see Mr. Trey Bobinger has entered. You moved. Okay. Mr. Trey Bobinger is our legislative representative, and he is here to give us an update.
How are y'all? Great. Good
Wonderful.
to see Mayor DePrio and the council. Good to be here. I only had one highway patrolman stop me on the way down, so I did good. Actually, I did, but he was very nice.
You may want to elaborate where you
No,
were coming from.
Maybe we can do that after the meeting. No, it's a pleasure to be here today and to see all of you again and talk to you a little bit about this upcoming legislative session. I also wanted to note Senator Philip Moran joined us tonight. Senator, appreciate you coming, because for us to be successful in Jackson, we've got to have work with our local legislative delegation. I also spoke on the way down to Representative Jay McKnight, and Jay was, he's new, but did a great job, was accessible, talked with us, worked with us, and of course, obviously Senator Moran couldn't have done some of the things we did that I'm about to talk about without his help and the whole delegation working together. And so I think we want to continue that. We were fortunate enough to receive $1.5 million from the Gulf Coast Recovery Fund monies, and we were very pleased with that. That's to help with the new commercial district, the frontage road, and obviously, as Mike keeps telling me, we need more money, so we're going to work on that. We hope to at least go for another $1.5 million, if not more, for the upcoming session. And I think with the help of our senator and our representative, and also other folks that we have worked with in the past, that we will have a good probability of picking up additional funding for the city. So I think that's important. We did very well, again, with our Tidelands allocation from the state. Diamondhead, the city, received $400,000. There again, thanks to the legislature and our local legislative delegation, thanks to the members of this council, you, Mayor, for making calls and letting your position be known. Just for the residents in attendance, I'd like to say that is right at $2 million that the city of Diamondhead received last year through funding programs from the Mississippi State Legislature. That's pretty significant, and certainly from a taxpayer standpoint, we'd rather be getting monies from Jackson than you guys having to consider raising property taxes or something to fund worthwhile projects for this city, infrastructure, improving our roads and doing those kind of things. There's Go Mesa funding, funds. We hope, I know, Mike, you sent me some data, $500,000 I think you were looking at for waterfront development on Noma Drive. I think you have 2 or 3 drainage projects in the northeast part of the city that you're looking at. So we're going to look at those Go Mesa funds. I know the city's always looking to try to attract in commercial development, whatever that may be, a hotel or retail, which grows the sales tax base. Also, it provides a convenience to the citizens of Diamondhead, and it also provides revenue, again, that everybody pays. If they stop off the interstate, you know, Diamondhead gets 18.5% of that 7% sales tax diverted to your general fund. So the more that that you have that balance of obviously protect your residents, your property values, but also enhance commercial, you can grow your revenue without, you know, taxing property in the city. A couple other things I wanted to mention. Small Municipalities Grant Program. Any city in Mississippi under 10,000 can apply for a grant. It's administered through the Mississippi Development Authority, MDA, and Diamondhead's eligible for this. This is another potential source for capital improvements, and we got $5 million put in last year. We hope to do that this year, perhaps more, where various municipalities around Mississippi can apply for these funds. The last thing I'll mention that is going to be an uphill battle, but it's something that other states have done. It's been a big help to municipalities, is local option sales tax, where the voters and the residents of any municipality, if a law is passed, would have the option to vote to fund a specific project in the city. And the tax would go away after that project was completed. Have to be road, bridge, water, sewer, whatever the case may be. I realize here you have a separate district for that, but that bill's going to be dropped in the House and Senate. Like I said, I don't know that it would pass, but there's a lot of safeguards in it. For instance, 60+% of the residents would have to vote in favor. So it's like a bond issue. It takes a kind of a super majority. So that's something else. Legislature's scheduled to come in January the 5th. With this coronavirus and the pandemic, there's been some discussion of coming in and recessing. The sense I get from legislators is that they're probably going to come in and try to stay and work. just social distance, wear their mask and that kind of thing. The session's scheduled to run through the first week of April. So there'll be a lot going on. And aside from these things that we're looking at, Mike, there's always different things that pop up. Sometimes they're things that may not be good for municipalities that we need to oppose or object to, or talk to our legislators and point out the reasons this may not be a good idea. So it's not a matter of just advancing. You also have to play defense sometimes. So with those comments, are there any questions?
Any questions?
Well, I appreciate y'all having me. I'll be around for the duration of the meeting. I'll tell you about the ticket, or no, excuse me, the stop after the meeting. Thank y'all for having me. I would, Senator Moran's here. Would you like to make any comments, Senator? I don't know. with the
Definitely,
protocol.
Senator Moran.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say that, during the session, we worked with multiple lobbyists from different functions in different areas of the state and multiple cities and counties. And I can tell you this in all honesty, and for those of you that come to the Capitol, on a daily basis, we're in and out of committee meetings, be it appropriations, energy meetings, highway and transportation meetings. And it's hardly ever a time that I step out of one of those meetings and I'm coming down the hallway that I don't see him. Or he's in the big meeting in room 216, our big appropriations meeting. So Trey has a presence at the Capitol every day. He's not one of these guys you see once a week. So that means a lot, and has a really good work.
May I interrupt? Some days he sees me coming, goes, "Oh, not him again."
But we will be working together on some legislation this year, and then there's a possibility if we can on your waterfront project, things like that will qualify for Go Mesa. We're certainly going to be working hard on that diligently. The 1.5, we got 1.5 last year. We're going to be working extremely hard to get another 1.5 this year to give you your $3 million that you had asked for, and then you can utilize it with your master plan. But once again, we'll start in January. Good Lord be willing, we're going to go all the way through, not take any breaks like we did last year, and finish up our session. I won't see you all till April when we get back, but as always, it's always good to come and before you all and to see the folks. And if I can help you in any way, my phone number's out there. Just call me.
Thank you, and thank you both for the nearly $2 million given to the city last year. We greatly appreciate your hard work.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
And one
you.
last thing I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, and this, I know the residents are interested, is improving our interchange out here for safety and access for the residents that live in Diamondhead. I know Mr. Riso and I have spoken, Senator Moran and I have talked. I've talked to Representative McKnight about this earlier today, about meeting with Commissioner King, the Transportation Commissioner for the Southern District. I know there's some things going on now, but we want to try to speed those things up and move them forward to make progress on our interchange out here. And I did want to mention that those
Well, thank
efforts are
you.
ongoing.
Because I had sent the city manager an email requesting that back in November, October. So the sooner we get that done, the quicker. We have been working on this. That first PowerPoint was done with Mayor Schaefer and myself, and I want to say it was in 15.
It was, I was
It
gonna
has
say,
been a long time we have been working on it. So we're ready to see some
Yeah.
action.
I feel the same way, and I know you guys put a lot of effort into it, and I think there's some things going on now, but we want to try to advance that.
And we're excited.
Wanted to mention that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mayor Deputy, I'll go a quick update on that. I did communicate with Gabe with MDOT this morning. They have pretty much done the design work. They're in right-of-way acquisition for the intersection, and also in communication now with the utilities that would need to be moved. So they are moving forward with that, which is great to see.
Next, we're going to move on to Machado Patano, who has been working on the City Hall parking lot improvements, another project we're very excited to move forward.
Set this right here.
Definitely. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I'm Jared Kilpatrick with Machado Patano Engineering out of Biloxi. We've been working with Mr. Riso and the mayor here, on this parking lot improvement project, so I'll be brief, definitely be briefer than your legislative update. And I'm spending your money, not getting you money, so, keep bringing it, right? I'll just kind of give a brief summary of what we've discussed with Michael, and I know I met with Nancy about this as well. So the intent is to provide new parking in front of City Hall here for your residents to have, one, handicap accessibility, and two, improve the lighting out there. And I know I walked up here in the dark a while ago, and it's, without your Christmas lights, it's definitely needs an upgrade on the lighting aspect. So essentially, right now, you have an entry here with some parking that would be demolished and green space created. The new parking would come in here. You would lose some parking here. And then we added parking at the gazebo. It's currently existing paved parking all the way to Diamondhead Circle. The intent here was to provide permanent marked spaces for functions at the gazebo. And then we added an island feature here to direct traffic, to be some signage here to tell residents this is where the parking is for City Hall, and then for the administrative offices would be around the rear. We phased this, and I don't know if Michael give you guys the
He
phasing
did.
plan. So we phased it so that this would be the base bid essentially, and then we had these as alternates. The other thing we did, I didn't mention, was in this area here, and I'm sorry I don't have a pointer, but this area here is where your recycle dumpster is, and it's in pretty bad shape, but we looked at it, asphalt's tore up from them moving the dumpster around. So we talked about moving that, creating a concrete pad for it to sit on, kind of out of sight, if you will, down the road a little further at this location. And then this would be converted to green space. That's it in a summary. I know I can answer any questions.
Okay.
I'm sure you have some.
Any questions to my left?
The point to alternate number one, additional parking area. On the map.
That's
Okay, thanks.
Any questions?
Are you
right.
addressing the lighting in the back, the administrative offices?
We have not discussed the lighting in the back.
I've actually got a work assignment out for lightning quick signs on the two lights, and they're gonna put LED 6 lights in that back and make that look like a Christmas tree.
So our scope is to light this area.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I had spoken to you earlier, the option one for new parking. Looking at it to the right, the landscape goes down. And I
Correct.
mentioned it to Mike, keeping that as it is and pave that. Food trucks are there currently and whatnot. It'd be nice to have a paved space there continually instead of parking that on green space.
Sure.
And allowing for more parking, because when we have events, there's not much. There is parking, but people having to park in private spaces at the churches or all the way at the circle. And what if the churches were to say up and say, "Hey, we don't, we're
Sure.
not."
And it's currently paved, so I
Parking.
mean, that's a,
So I know that's probably a little more expenditures or whatnot, but that's something that's something we definitely need to look in, is keeping that parking instead of eliminating it. We will need it in the future. So that's my opinion on that.
all right.
And that's an excellent idea, Councilman Moore. And we had looked at in the future going all around that circle with parking coming in.
Okay.
And so looking at it, ADA is a big issue. So we're very excited. If you're handicapped, ADA accessible, you have to come in this way because it's entirely too dark to come in that way. So letting residents with disabilities be right here on the concrete is going to be exceptional. And have you been authorized to seek the ADA grant funds? We were looking at, no. Because this is an ADA improvement project. So we
Absolutely.
need to review and research that,
Okay.
and look at possible sources of funding, because ideally we would want this whole project conclusive. The entrance is very congested coming in and out. There's no defined egress, ingress into City Hall. It's just an open Right now, it's an open asphalt, so you meet cars coming in and going out. Everybody does their own thing.
Correct.
So having it defined with an island will be exceptional. And then moving the recycling dumpster, which is a eyesore, to the back where it's not seen when you drive past City Hall will be excellent. And then having handicap spaces at the gazebo is a tremendous asset. So it's a beautiful layout. Y'all did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You as well.
Mayor, just a couple of comments. Again, this was one of the projects that y'all included in the budget for this year. It was set at about $60,000. There were other funds that came through, reimbursement through CARES and some other things that probably gives us some extra cash that we didn't expect. That would probably be through a budget amendment thing. But the biggest concern was commented on. If you look outside in the winter, after daylight savings time, it is extremely dark. And then it is a great distance for elderly or handicapped to travel. So the need for handicap accessibility is, I think, great in this location. Lost my train of thought for a second there.
So, well,
I was
on
gonna
that train of
comment,
thought.
the MDA grant that was referenced earlier would be an ideal possibility for this one. We do currently have one active for East Aloha, so we can't apply until we finish that project. I have engaged SMPDD, who we have a contract with, to seek other ADA possible grants that maybe could help fund that part of the project. Now it's really going to be up to the council to give me direction on where y'all want to go from here.
I think we need to research the ADA funding, because this started back in 14 because of ADA, and an elderly resident trying to get up here, and it was dark. So we do have ADA accessible, but this back door has to be open. I mean, we are ADA accessible. It's just, it'd be a lot more convenient if we had it where residents were right here. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to the city manager's report.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief too. I know we got a long meeting. Just want to update on the agenda tonight. We have several work assignments for two different engineers. The first is a work assignment with Pickering Engineer for a culvert replacement on Hilo Street. We've been notified of basically a failing culvert in that area. This new work assignment with Pickering is for that failed culvert. It runs between two residences, coming from a large ditch off the golf course all the way to under the street. It's a 36-inch metal culvert. There are sinkholes forming in the yards. And really still a question actually on the, does the culvert under the street also need to be replaced? The engineer will make that determination. This work assignment will handle a survey of the area to find out where are the legal descriptions, who owns what, where's the easement, that type of thing. Assess the situation, prepare a recommendation for the council with a cost estimate for y'all to consider. This is a very deep culvert, so we would be looking to hire an outside firm to do the construction on it. There's a work assignment for Jason Kenichi on East Aloha improvements. This is talking about the MDA grant for $150,000. This is a new work assignment since the last time we basically declined the bids, and we're taking the advice of our urban planners to kind of redo that drawing for East Aloha. That would deal with drainage, curbing, and roadway improvements through there. We did also get the grant from GRPC for $488,000, if I'm not mistaken, for sidewalks through that whole area, and that is phase 2. That is an MDOT grant, so the forms are different than MDA. We have a work assignment with Jason Kenichi for Noma Drive boat launch and the pier improvements. This was referred to as the Waterfront District Project over at the end of Noma. This is for design, bidding, and construction phase of that project. This is funded by the $400,000 Tidelands grant that we were awarded this past year. Now the council has accepted that grant. The next step is basically award it or get the engineer working. We have another work assignment with Pickering Engineer for dredging the Lily Retention Pond off of Diamondhead Drive North. This is a new work assignment to survey the area, assess it, design it, and help us with permitting. The city will rent a large marsh buggy track hoe and do the work with our staff. We want Pickering basically to design it and get the permitting done for us. We also have a work assignment with Pickering for dredging what I'll call is the Diamondhead Drive East Retention Pond. Exact same thing for Pickering to survey, assessment, design, and permitting for dredging. Again, we would use the same marsh buggy while we have it and do that work. In January, just prearranged contracts for disaster. We've been through this, and we had to do the procurement process for our current cleanup. I'll be recommending to the council that we prearrange contracts for the project manager, debris monitors, and debris removal contractor. It's my intention to request authorization to advertise for the position of project manager at the first meeting in January. This is the firm that will help, write the RFP documents for the debris monitor and the debris removal contractor. They also help with all the paperwork and administration and dealing with FEMA and all the FEMA rules. So it's kind of critical to have this role, especially during a major disaster. At the Hancock County Solid Waste Board meeting on Monday, Nancy and I sit on that board. I did inform the other cities, Bay St. Louis, Waveland, and the county of my intention to put this in front of our council. I also recommended that they do the same. There's a lot of interest right now between these entities. There was some discussion at the authority of having them lead the way and having us, through the authority, do a master contract for the whole county. Obviously, there's some pros and cons to that. So each board member basically is going to be talking to their council, getting input from that, and we'll bring it up at our next meeting, which is the second Monday in January. Mayor Deppery and I would like to get some feedback from the council and y'all input on that. I'm concerned a little bit about any delays and just trying to work with so many different boards. I'm worried about, how's that impact us up here? Finally, I'm going to refer to Jeannie Klein, our city clerk, with some comments on voting locations.
Thank you, Mike. As you know, our general election cycle kicks off January 4th with qualifying. First primary will be April 6th. We've experienced some difficulties in the last couple elections over at the community center with wards 2, 3, and 4, and it's gotten significantly worse with COVID and having to practice social distancing, the 6 foot. So we thought about where could we move, what could we look at. We thought about moving one of the precincts into the card room, which would put an entrance in the back. Not sure if that would be enough room, especially if we have both Republican and Democratic primaries, which would increase our normal 15 workers for that location to 30. It would double. So we talked about the country club. Julie Boudreau and I went over there on Friday, looked at it. It would be a phenomenal facility. They have a covered portico like we do here, which would help facilitate curbside voting. So with that being said, I did do not a formal, just a general inquiry to the general manager there, and they are going to talk to the commission or the board of directors on Monday to get the feel if they were interested in allowing us to move our wards 2, 3, and 4 precinct there, which we've asked for the 2 larger ballrooms, which would provide adequate location, facility, just all around better voting. But ultimately, that decision is going to come back to you as a council. Since we no longer have to get Department of Justice approval on that, it can be done at the local level. So just wanted to give y'all a heads up if you hear it. Nothing concrete. We're just putting out some feelers, looking at improving the voting situation. And this would only apply to municipal elections. The county election precincts would remain the same unless they came on our coattails and wanted to move it that as well. Any thoughts? We'll be bringing those forward. You can email me if you have any individual thoughts on that. But we'll know something mid-next week on if the POA has room for us there.
Thank you. Any questions for the city manager to my left? Any comments to the right? So we do need some feedback from the council. If you could be thinking about the disaster management either doing a joint disaster management with solid waste as the applicant through FEMA, or keeping it where the city does it. My thought currently is we should just keep moving forward. If we decide to go in with them, then we can just reject the bids on disaster management, but we're not losing time, because our schedule now puts us mid-May. We want to be ready to go for June 1st. So,
I would agree the same. I know that we reached out, January last year, got this ball started in anticipation of a storm. We got no movement from the state, and we got a storm. So I think we should move forward.
I agree.
And my biggest concern is just trying to get all of these different boards on the same page. And, what I communicated to as a concern on Monday was also that making sure we had equal, trucks moving in each city, in each ward, and one wasn't getting ignored, or, one was getting more than the other, just to make sure our residents were taken care of. So I just have some concerns. I mean, there might be some benefit in cost, but I see more downside at this point.
okay, thank you. Public comments, Ms. Jeannie Klein, if you don't mind calling them off one by one. And this is for agenda items.
Lisa, was it Verdano? It's for the VRBO. It's an agenda item.
Yes, ma'am, it is. You can come stand up here and just state your name and your address.
First of all, Merry Christmas to all of y'all, and
Merry
congratulations,
Christmas.
Nancy, on your new
Thank
position
you.
as mayor. 7620 Fairway Drive, Lisa and Tom Vergano. Been here since 2007. Okay, here's additional reasons for denial of this VRBO. I hope y'all have the info from the prior meeting on the 8th. Okay, Fairway Estates, for those of you on the city council who may not be familiar with Fairway Estates, I would like to give you a quick overview. Fairway Estates is a prestigious subdivision of Diamondhead that many realtors have described as the Glen Eagle of Diamondhead prior to Glen Eagle being developed. It is within walking distance to the country club. It's zoned as an R1 low-density residential community, and its POA covenants are still in effect until 2028. It consists of two cul-de-sac streets, Fairway Drive and Tahiti Circle. Most of the lots on these streets are large 1/2 acre golf course lots. The lots on one side of Fairway Drive are on the Cardinal, and the lots on the other are on the Pine. And the lots on the other side of, the other Tahiti Circle also on the Pine. Most Diamondhead residents aren't even aware of our street because it's so private and hidden. They've told me that so many times. Its unique qualities makes it an extremely quiet and safe place to live. These are some of the many reasons our residents chose to purchase their home in Fairway Estates. There is only one way to enter or leave Fairway Estates, which is the main entrance off of Golf Club Drive. This entrance is split into two small roads, one used to enter and the other used to exit. These two roads come together at a junction at the top of a small hill and then continue as one street. Okay, vacation rental by owner. The proposed VRBO at 7604, owned by Margaret F. Nutkins, is located right at that main entrance's junction. This junction is where the three roads meet, the entering road and the exit road in the main street. The house has a very small front yard with a half-moon shaped drive. Fairway Drive is narrow street running off the main entrance of Fairway Estates. The street has some drainage ditches on each side of the street. Therefore, there's generally no parking on this street. Issues. 1, as previously stated on December 8th meeting, our street is an R1 low-density residential zone. It's interesting to note that a VRB could actually be called the equivalent of a hotel, which is a business. A VRBO is really a business. It's not a personal residence, and I would not call a 10-bed rental unit low density. 2, a VRBO would be allowed in a R3 zoned area, but not R1 zoned. 3, if this VRBO is allowed in Fairway Estates, Diamondhead will have then set a precedent allowing VRBOs throughout our entire city, regardless of their zoning. VRBOs would be allowed in Glen Eagle and other R1 subdivisions and streets. 4, as noted, due to the street's narrowness and where this house sits, there will probably be a variety of homeowner issues as they are created by additional renters' vehicles from this RVBO on a daily basis. These include renter difficulty assessing and egressing the VRBO driveway, safe travel in and out by residents, as well as the ability for emergency service vehicles to safely and efficiently navigate into this development. 5, if this, let me just say vacation rental, is allowed, we will have strangers driving by our homes with the possibility for theft and or vandalism, excessive noise, or even speeding while passing through. Question, does Mrs. Nutkins conduct thorough background, criminal, and register sex offender checks on every renter prior to renting, or just accept their credit card? If not, here's a potentially enormous safety hazard for all our permanent homeowners in Fairway Estates. Note, during the 12/8 meeting, Mrs. Nutkins informed the board she had already rented this rental to 2 Georgia guests prior to final approval from the appropriate boards. It's my understanding it's a requirement that you register your rental and or obtain a business license / permit from the city prior to opening any business. 6, a VRB renter is much different from a long-term renter. Where a long-term renter rents, they must usually pay first and last month's rent in addition to pet deposits, et cetera, et cetera. They take care of the mowing, the lawn, et cetera. The VRB renter is only renting for R&R reasons. Also, they could possibly be renting for other reasons, running from something, who knows what. As we all know, Diamondhead is located right off Interstate 10 on the Gulf Coast and has a harbor and private airport. This might be an ideal situation for a drug dealer with a temporary place to stay for drug pickups within an upscale residential neighborhood where no one would even suspect him, unlike as a busy motel. Also, temporary renters will not worry about anything because they aren't staying for any length of time. 7, as mentioned prior, the VRBO will bring strangers to our street who can impact our safety and health, privacy, peace of mind, security for each invested homeowner. Our neighbors take daily, day and night pleasure walks, walk their dogs, jog, and bike ride. Will they feel safe if this VRBO is allowed? Strangers to the neighborhood have the potential for criminal acts such as personal property, financial crimes. In addition, there may be noise issues, public nuisances, drunkenness, and drug activity, not to mention an increase in traffic and parking issues on the narrow street. Note, these possible impacts are even greater for the homes that are adjacent to and across from the proposed rental. With this said, what recourse would the permanent homeowners have when there are issues? Do we just end up in Judge Judy's court? In conclusion, our home is our most valuable and expensive asset. Our home is a safe haven and a comfort zone, a place to live with our families and pets and enjoy our friends, a place to build memories as well as to build future wealth. Our homes in this coveted neighborhood could lose their value, especially the homes adjacent to and across from this business venture. All the property owners in Fairway Estates have a huge financial investment in their homes. If allowed, Ms. Nutkins' VRBO will infringe on our property rights, covenants, and hurt our property values as permanent homeowners. If the VRB is permitted, we as property owners will be victims of her capitalism for her own financial gain at our expense. Note, none of us purchased our Fairway home estates to be living down the street from a temporary living rental, which could, in reality, be considered, like we said before, a motel, hotel. We bought in this development for our family's safety, privacy, peace of mind, and security. All of us have worked long and hard in order to acquire what we now have. We have a lot invested in our homes and properties, as said before. We purchased our home on this prestigious street for our family and friends with the hopes that the property values will rise. For some, the value of their homes will be The value of their homes will be an inheritance to their children and other descendants. Allowing a VRB on this R1 residentially zoned street, low density, will be an enormous detriment for all of our permanent homeowners on Fairway Drive and Tahiti Circle. I sincerely hope the city of Diamond Head will respect and honor our request for Diamond Head's permanent property owner, dwellers, and taxpayers, and will deny this vacation rental by owner. Sincerely, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments.
Mayor Deputy, point of order, should we consider suspending the rules, given the time we've allowed? Or should
We
stick to the
shall,
3 minutes?
on this discussion, we shall.
So I move we suspend the rules for the 3-minute comment period for the public,
For agenda items
for agenda items.
only. Thank you. Second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next, Miss City Clerk, Miss Jeannie Klein. Please state your name and your address.
My name is Molly Jimenez, 7636 Fairway Drive. My husband and I have been residents of Fairway Drive for over 20 years. Everything that Lisa said is probably what I would have said. I do have a question. A letter went out to only 300 to people within 300 feet of that home. What happens to the people that live further down? This is going to affect everyone on Fairway Drive as far as the value of our homes. And sometimes you hear, well, Fairway Drive is ritzy. Not everyone on Fairway Drive has money. We have worked a lot to maintain our properties and to get to the point where we are now. Like Lisa said, this is a home that we have enjoyed peacefully. We all work hard in our yards to make it look as nice as we can. And, I hope you recognize that this isn't a money thing. This is a personal home that we love, and we love Diamondhead too. Diamondhead is not the little Diamondhead that we moved into. Everywhere you turn around, there's building, 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 taking no consideration as to what the traffic is going to be or anything that is going to be for the best use of our citizens. And that's why we moved here. After moving 14 times with the government, we decided to retire here in Diamondhead. But it's not the Diamondhead that we used to know. And I hope you all consider that this is our home and this is our street. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Jeannie Klein? Could you please say your name and your address? Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Board members, people of the public. Merry Christmas. Thanks for, my name is Don Walter. I live at 7608 Fairway Drive. And I want to thank you for hearing our concerns regarding this conditional use permit of a residence in an R1 community of Fairway Drive. According to the city Diamondhead Code of Ordinances, the purpose of R1 is defined as, and I quote, the most restrictive district and least densely populated of residential districts. These areas are intended to be defined and protected from the encroachment of uses not performing a function appropriate to the residential environment. Move this up a little bit. I had a little part on the setting of Fairway Drive, but since Ms. Lisa presented that already, I'm going to bypass that for savings of time, because I have another presentation to give for the people next to my house. I live 2 doors down from the property in question. 38 of 42 property owners signed a petition requesting that the Planning Commission deny the request for conditional use. We feel that a vacation rental in this neighborhood is not a function appropriate to the unique neighborhood environment that exists in Fairway Estates. A vacation rental property here would detract from the basic elements of this well-balanced and attractive residential area. Authorizing use of a residence for less than 30-day rentals in Fairway Estates has the potential to lower property taxes, create potentially unsafe vehicular flow at the blind entry section of Fairway Drive, and set a precedent for use of an R1 zoned area for operation of a business. On December 8th, the City Planning Commission voted to recommend denial of the application for conditional use, and we hope you'll consider that as paramount in your decision tonight. I was given the woman next to me at 7606 Fairway Drive, Ms. Chapman, had a stroke the night before Thanksgiving, and her daughter is in town. She's still, Ms. Chapman's still in hospital, but I was given this letter to read, and I've not read it.
Okay, can we make sure that the city clerk has this written down? So it was
7606.
06, Ms. Chapman.
Ms. Chapman, Elizabeth Chapman. And I did not read it on purpose because I didn't want to, if it's in support, it's in support. Dear City Council, my name is Christian Chapman, and I'm writing on behalf of my mother, Miss Elizabeth Chapman. My mom lives at 7606 Fairway Drive and is currently in the hospital recovering from a stroke. In her absence, I wanted to speak out against the application for conditional use of less than 30 days at 7604 Fairway Drive, since I cannot be there in person as I am with her at the hospital. Fairway Estates is a quiet, safe, family-oriented neighborhood. VRBO and Airbnb rentals pose a safety threat and noise issues. Fairway Estates is not a place for such business. My 69-year-old mother did not retire to the quiet neighborhood of Fairway Estates to live next to a hotel or property promoting parties of strangers and live with the stress and anxiety of such activities. I beg of you to reject the request for short-term rentals. The ad on VRBO at 7604 Fairway Drive says the house can sleep 10. There is a photo of a game poker table and states that 5 cars can fit into the driveway. It says great for family reunions and golf weekends. This is simply promoting parties and is unacceptable. I live in San Francisco, and short-term rentals are incredibly disruptive, dangerous, and they have ruined other family-oriented California neighborhoods. Imagine if you lived next to a party house with different people every weekend. This is a dangerous precedent for a peaceful and family-oriented community. Please consider the quality of life you wish to promote in the beautiful community of Diamondhead. I'm sure this is not. Sincerely, Christian Chapman.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you for hearing us. I appreciate it.
Miss Jeannie Klein? Scott King?
Hi. Thought I was here to just answer any questions that you may have about the variance that we had requested, but we sent a variance request for a lot in Glen Eagle because the plans we submitted were.
Could you speak up some?
Yep, the plans we submitted were 3 feet too large for the lot, for the side setbacks. We've gotten written approval from both residents on both sides for us to go ahead and build the house. The lot on the south side is a double lot. It's 187 feet across the front. They're going to build the house in the center of the lot. So the houses will not be right on top of each other. The house on the other side has a side entry garage with a 30-foot apron for the driveway. So again, that side of the house would not be close to theirs. When Mr. Jones presented last week, he explained that the lot did have a hardship just because of the slope of the lot and the high percentage of wetlands on the lot. 2/3 of the lot is wetlands. When we initially bought the lot before COVID, we bought it from a builder who was going to do the house after COVID hit, they kind of disappeared from the scene. So when we brought the plans to another builder, he explained that because it went so far back to the wetlands and the slope of the lot, that what was originally quoted was going to be over $100,000 more for it. So that also presented a hardship as well. So we're just kind of requesting the variance of 3 feet on the south side of the lot be approved.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. Miss Jeannie Klein?
Margaret Nutkins.
Miss Nutkins? Please state your name and address for the record.
Didn't realize I had to sign up because I was the.
Oh, you have to sign up.
Okay.
Okay.
Margaret Nutkins, 7604 Fairway. Thank you for letting me speak. You all have a copy of my comprehensive evaluation of this issue. And on December the 8th at the Planning and Zoning meeting, there were numerous outbursts that were attempts to discredit me. Numerous times the committee was told that I was opening a bed and breakfast, but that's a lie. This is not a bed and breakfast. It's merely a vacation rental. The guest will be using it for residential purposes as in any other home on that street. One resident yelled that she, meaning me, doesn't live there. She lives in Alacoco Place. Well, in March of 2020, I sold my house on Alacoco Place to Thomas Matea. I have filed a no homestead exemption with Hancock County because at my Fairway Drive property because it's against the law to file for exemption if any portion of your home is rented, even though it's your primary residence. One resident stated, "How do you vet your guest?" Well, my answer is that the laws are very specific, that one is not allowed to discriminate when renting or selling, and I follow the law. Vetting has been ruled by the courts as a form of discrimination because it perpetuates racism. The main objection from the residents seems to be that they think there's going to be a parking problem. In my site plan, I described the property to accommodate 6 cars. Since then, we've updated that site plan with measurements, and it shows that it actually will accommodate 7 cars. A resident stated that she saw 2 cars with Georgia plates over the Thanksgiving weekend, and that is true. I had rented to them before Mr. Patrich reached out to me about the permit, and I felt that it was unfair to cancel. The point that I'm making is that that group from Georgia consisted of 6 adults and 3 children, and they came in 2 cars. 2. The one-time rental was very typical of what vacation rentals are in general. They did not park in the street. They did not block traffic. They did not make noise. They did not generate any more traffic than if my family had come for Christmas. The objection by the residents that my vacation rental would cause parking problems and block the street is simply untrue. My guest will not be blocking the street, and besides, city already has ordinances that control parking. The residents felt that a vacation rental will detract from their residential area, yet none of them described exactly how my vacation rental would do that. If you ride through High Point, where there are no conditional use permits required, you're not able to tell which ones are rentals and which ones are permanent residential homes, and mine will continue to look just like a residential home on Fairway. A vacation rental is a home occupation. It is no different than selling Amway, Avon, or running a child care from home. In 2019 version of the Code of Ordinances, it allowed for home occupations with a permit. In my comprehensive evaluation, I cited Supreme Courts of Washington and Texas and other courts that upheld that vacation rentals are classified as residential use, not commercial. The residents object to a vacation rental not being used for residential purposes has already been tried in the courts. Granting the permit will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or general welfare. It will not adversely affect the established character or planned character of the surrounding vicinity. It will not be injurious to the uses, planned uses, property, or improvements adjacent to or in the vicinity of the home. The granting of the permit is consistent and compatible with the intent of the goals, the objectives, and the policies of the city's comprehensive plan. All conditions to lessen any impacts on the proposed use are conditions that can be monitored and enforced. The use will not introduce hazardous conditions at the site. There will be no public health, safety, or community endangerment. The staff report from Mr. Ronald Jones recommended the permit be granted with conditions. I am applying for that permit. All you have to do is give me the conditions and I will follow them. I will abide by them. The attorney who was at the meeting stated the Code of Ordinance already allows for rental for less than 30 days in R1 and R2 zones, but with the conditional use permit. It's not prohibited. I feel that I'm being singled out as there are numerous other residents in R1 zones who are advertising on the websites VRBO and Airbnb. It is my right as a citizen of Diamondhead to obtain this permit, and I feel like my rights are being denied by the Planning and Zoning Committee. Now is your chance to right their wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Clerk, Ms. Jeannie Klein.
Seems like it's Fairway Drive evening. I want to thank you for hearing. I just signed up to speak, and it's not just the subject that was just discussed here, but is also because we just got information that the POA plans to increase the size of buildings over in their golf court maintenance yard that's also backs on to Fairway Estates.
We have to stay on topic with an agenda item, not unless you want to go on to non-agenda.
Non-agenda, please.
Okay, well, that's at a later time in the meeting. Right now is agenda, so if you wanted to talk about...
This has to do with the B&B eventually. But I have to tell you that we were just notified that the POA plans to enlarge, again, the maintenance yard at the end of Fairway Estates, which you said will be open, which is fine, because we went to the Supreme Court of Mississippi to have that cul-de-sac, and our neighborhood is platted as a cul-de-sac. And thank you very much for reassuring me that it'll be locked back up, because we went all the way to the Mississippi Supreme Court with this. But it appears to me that we have a problem at the entrance end and now at the bottom end of Fairway Estates. And it is a very narrow street, and if you would walk along the grasses that border either side of the street, there's huge water holes. You could fall into it. A car, if they drive over there, will fall into the ditches. That's how bad the ditches are there. So all of this is tied together, and I think it really is sad, because we have lived here since 1971. Most of the time. I wouldn't live here if I didn't love the street that I am living on, but I am telling you that it is too much between the POA and the city. Our little street is not getting any better. It's so narrow that when we have people that do the lawns, you many times have to stop your car and wait until they move their trailer or whatever in order to get around it. It isn't a place for business of any kind. and then to open up the end of it, you just can't do it. And I would just like some help from the city, because if I didn't like living at Diamondhead, I'd be gone. This is just headaches I don't need. And we have lived here just about 50 years when it was very, very small. And our only neighbors was Mr. Jex, who is now dead. So please give us a break there. We're not asking for anything out of this world for you to perform for us. We're good neighbors, and I've spent a lot of money here, and I would like to stay here. But if all of this is going to happen to Fairway Estates, I simply will have to go, and I don't want to. I want to live here the rest of my life, however short or long it is. So please give us some help for Fairway Estates. We don't need problems at one end and at the other end also. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
admire all of you, and I really do thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, Ms. Jenny Klein. That's all on agenda items, public comments. Moving on to our policy agenda. Could I get a motion to approve the December 1st, 2020 regular meeting minutes?
I so move.
Could I get a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Resolution 2020-342. Motion to adopt Resolution 2020-086, thereby authorizing submittal of grant application to the Natural Resource Conservation Services for Emergency Watershed Protection Program, funding for drainage system restoration and to the upstream and downstream channels of the Lily Pond, committing matching funds in the amount of $60,225 and for other related purposes. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion to my left?
I have none.
To my right? And again, this was for the work we're working on dredging out the Lily Pond. This is for the drainage ditches that fall into the Lily Pond, cleaning them out, funding to restore them. City Clerk?
Maureen?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
LaCour?
Yes.
DePrio?
Yes. Resolution 2020-343, motion to adopt Resolution 2020-087, thereby reducing the mayor's salary from $10,000 to $6,000 for the period between November 2020 and ending in June 2021, authorizing the administration to equally divide allocations of the remaining $4,000 to the Diamondhead SPCA, Hancock County CASA, and Hancock County Human Resource Center, authorizing budget amendment for same for other related purposes, all pursuant to the request and council motion submitted by Mayor DePrio. I move. Can I get a second? City Clerk?
Maureen?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
LaCour?
Yes.
DePrio?
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve consent agenda items 4 through 15?
I so move.
Could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could I get a motion to approve the recommendation of the Planning Commission for Mr. Ray Sheward and Mr. Scott King having requested a variance for the ordinance Article 5.4.2G to construct a house within 6.8 feet from the side yard south property line? The case file number is 202000466. The newly assigned property address is 7420 Turnberry Way. The tax parcel number is 067N-1-35-0-093.000. The legal description is replat of Glen Eagle Phase 1, Lot 174A. The property is located in R1 zoning. The minimum side yard setback is 10 feet due to the property being in a combination lot allowed by the covenants. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? As Mr. Scott stood up here and stated, this is a hardship because this lot does drop off from 20-something feet on down to a ditch and 2/3 is wetlands. City Clerk?
Roll call.
Mhm.
Morian,
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
LaCour.
Yes.
DePriette.
Yes. Motion to concur with the recommendation of the Planning Commission to deny the request of Ms. Margaret F. Nutkins for a conditional use permit in accordance with the zoning ordinance, Table 4.2, Article 421.1C, and Article 2.5, to allow a short-term vacation rental for 30 days or less in an R1 district. The tax parcel number is 067P-35-066.000. The street address is 7604 Fairway Drive. Case file number is 202000481. Could I get a motion?
Mayor, I would offer to amend the motion. And the amendment would read, recommendation from the council is to return this application back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a decision as to the reason for the denial of the application, the original request. We've heard a number of comments tonight on both sides of the argument. The record indicates that this was permitted in R1 with conditions. Conditions were, staff recommendations was to approve. The Planning and Zoning recommendation was to deny, but they didn't state why. And I have concerns about voting on the issue until I understand the full argument.
Okay, Councilman LaCour has made a motion to amend the motion. So can I get a second to his amended motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Clark. Okay, city, any discussion to my right? Any discussion to my left? So what we're requesting is that it goes back to Planning Commission. This can either, the city, and here's the options when it goes to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission recommends to the City Council their decision, and usually they clearly state why they made a decision. So Councilman LaCour is asking us to send it back for them to clearly state why they denied it. Then it will come back to the City Council. Okay, with that being said, City Clerk?
Morian,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
LaCour,
Yes.
DePriette.
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve claims payables APP TK1365 in the amount of $41,298.24. PR claims 66 in the amount of $2,650.90. PR claims 67 in the amount of $34,565.63. PR claims 68 in the amount of $736.90. APPKT 1373 in the amount of $44,553.65. Motion?
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve docket of claims. Claims DKT 157854, DKT 157916 in the amount of $179,088.94. Could I get a motion
Also move.
I'll second.
and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could I get a motion to approve building departments A, Police Department B, and Privilege License C?
Move.
Could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
City Clerk, Ms. Jeannie Klein, is there any non-agenda?
None.
No non-agenda. Mr. Derek Cusick, City Council, any reason for executive session? Any comments you'd like to make?
None tonight.
With that being said, the City Council would like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas from our families to yours. We hope you all enjoy the holidays. And we look forward to seeing you back, not on December 15th, as I called out before, but it's actually January 7th. Is that correct? The next meeting date. That's okay. January 7th. We'll see you back here at 6 p.m. You all have a great holiday, and thank you for coming. Motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.